Alright, I think everything's in the go. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Am I coming in clear? Hopefully I'm coming in through clear. Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to a continuation of my very first live stream for 2022. I am, of course, your host, Michael, aka Trainman3985, and we're back on Southern Pacific's Sorry, my train of thought derailed. Pardon the pun. Klamath Falls Division. Just in case anybody isn't aware or is unaware or is already aware. A few days ago, I was doing a live stream to test out my new camera that I got. Well, technically, dash cam, but still. And to see if I can also do more live streaming. See, I did it once before, but it never really caught on, and I guess time and other things got in the way. But now it looks like we're able to. It looks like I'm able to do more stuff. So my initial plan was to do a full live stream from Dunsmuir, California to Klamath Falls, Oregon, hauling a Southern Pacific 1990s inspired oil train. But as we all know, the game crashed right at some point. And I think that was partly due to the fact that I was flip-flopping between spaces and locomotives and trying to do side things and such. So what I did was, excuse me. So what I have done is that I've reset the locomotive and train to roughly somewhere where the crash thing happened. So looking at the dial, it says that we are roughly 56 miles away from Klamath Falls. So with that in mind, I set the train to that, and now I'm basically just picking up off. Hold on. Always remember to blow the horn at railroad crossings. I don't care if there are quiet zones. Horns save lives. So with that in mind, I decided today I would pick up where I left off and hopefully complete the live stream and complete the journey. So here we are. We're back in the cab of the SD4. No, not SD40. The AC 4400. I'm just adjusting the speed so we maintain a constant 40 miles per hour. So that is the speed. And in addition to that, I'm going to try and keep the live stream, or keep the camera position strictly in the cab. Or at least try and not flip-flop from the front of the train to the back of the train, because I think that was a contributing factor that caused the game to crash. So hopefully with lower frame rates and in a single direction, we shouldn't have a problem. Yes or no? So hopefully now we'll be able to. So hopefully now we will be able to make it this time. I'm speeding a little. Oh, looks like we have some people in the chat today. Hey, Thomas the Challenger. Hey, Awesome Austin. Oh, sorry. And Colin too. Atta boys. Oh, we're starting to go down a grade. Better prepare to use dynamic braking. There we go. So just in case anybody is joining us, we are re-continuing our adventure from Dunsmuir, California to Klamath Falls. Just in case anybody isn't aware, or is aware, or needs an update. A few days ago I did a live stream. We got roughly halfway from Dunsmuir, California to about, I want to say, a few more miles from the summit, when all of a sudden the game crashed. So hopefully we shouldn't have that problem. Excuse me. Oh, what's that, Austin? Can you show off your HO trains? Yes, I plan to do some model train videos in the future, and to do some this year. In fact, I'm currently working on a new model series showcasing a few model trains. I'm not going to say too much, but I will say it's a showcase series with a working title of Trainman Models, not to be confused with Trainman Line by Lionel. That is a completely different topic and a completely different line. That was a good joke, Thomas. Alright, so it looks like we're starting to level out a little bit. Ah, good. Now we can really open these beasts out and let all the horses out. So while we're picking up speed, I want to ask anyone who's watching the live stream, how are you guys doing? And out of genuine curiosity, where did, or what time is it in your guys' time? Like say, what state time do you guys live locally? You don't have to give away your state if you want to keep private. If you want to keep it private, that's completely fine by me. Okay, now we're at run 8. By the way, folks, here's a little joke for you. What do you call a train that works at a fast food restaurant? A trainee. And just any PC Nazis are out there, no, I did not say tranny. And just as to clarify something, tranny was originally in the automotive industry because it's short for transmission. A simple Google search will tell you that. Don't give me any excuses. Do your research. All right, we're reaching about 70. I wonder if there's a spot in here where it says we need to do 90. Technically speaking, not really. The highest the train goes around this area is probably 80. Though that got me thinking, Klamath Falls is set in the 1980s. We're driving a train made to resemble a train of what it may look like in the 1990s. If we made the train go up to 88 miles per hour, could we get sent back to 1885? Nah, not really. I remember a time I drove an Amtrak train from, I think it was from Atlanta to... No, wait, no. I drove an Amtrak train in Florida, and I did it at 100 miles per hour. Even then, we didn't hit the time stream or the flux capacitor. I miss the 1990s. They were a great decade to grow up in. I'm pretty sure some people feel the way about the 80s, 90s, or the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. Oh shit! I really hate that. Why when you get to a certain speed, all of a sudden it drops down to another? Don't you hate that? Oh, and yes, just in case the video or the setting isn't clear, I'm a general audience kind of person, or YouTube channel I should say. I do make content, but it's not intended for little kids. And whilst I think I can make content that's suitable for both kids and adults, children were never my intended audience. Especially since I give out information and talk about stuff that most kids don't understand. And I also say a few stuff that isn't suitable for kids. Are we all clear on that? Anybody watching? Did you hear that? My channel is not for kids, and this video isn't for kids. Are we clear on that? Good. Now get the fuck out of here, you little cunts. I gotta say, the Kappa thing that was announced for YouTube, I think it benefited a lot of YouTubers, especially saying that now they can have more creative and freedom of speech. And just in case anybody says you can't say anything you want, bullshit. This is a free country. The United States of America is a free country. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. Rest assured, I am not going to I am not going to spend most of the video swearing or anything. No. As much as I like to swear because I find it funny, thanks to George Carlin and a few other my favorite comedians such as Richard Pryor and Chris Rock and Chris Tucker, I definitely feel free to do so. But I know my limits, and I'm pretty sure if any of you guys think I'm going overboard, I'm sure you'll let me know. Oh shoot. Good thing I caught that one. I need to focus on the tracks. On a different topic, the scenery that they put in this route is spectacular. I'm pretty sure people are criticizing Dovetail Games or whoever the developer is right now that they don't do routes justice. To be honest, there are some things that can be improved on, but they do a decent and they do a good enough job. Not everything is perfect, but hey, you know what they say, everything has their ups and downs, pluses or negatives. It really depends on the person. Oh, going downhill. Battery's off on the throttle. Like, I'll use two routes that Dovetail Games has made, or maybe Kalama Falls was made or Kalama Falls was made by someone else. If you could let me know. If you can let me know, sound off in the live chat or in the comments, depending when this video comes out or when you see this video. Oh, it looks like Thomas has a joke for me. Okay, Thomas, go right ahead. I'll let you say your joke first, and then I'll get into my examples. That was clever, Thomas. That was a clever joke. That's my whole philosophy on life. If you don't have a good sense of humor, you're better off dead. Well, anyways, back to the Dovetail Games route building thing. I honestly think they do good jobs. There could be some improvements that they could do, but there are also good routes that they do that are pretty good. Like, for example, let's use Southern Pacific's Mount Shasta and Donner Pass as examples. I think they do a decent... No. When Donner Pass came out, it was literally littered with problems. And they went back and they did some patches and reworks to it. Donner Pass, I would say, isn't the best route out there, but you know what, it's not the worst. Hopefully somebody will do a remaster of it some point in the future, or do a modern interpretation of it. Heck, I've seen a lot of route builders do that lately. Oh well, I guess time will tell. Whereas here at Kalama Falls, it's mind-blowing. I haven't seen anything wrong with it. I have seen reviews of it, and people are allowed to say whatever they want to say. And I agree with them. Like this one reviewer I saw, he says that there was a bit of a horn glitch that went on with the tonneau motor and the SD9. Oh, speaking of which, there's an SD9 lead freight train right there. Probably taking the siding for us. So anyways, I can see both sides of the argument. Some people think Dovetail Games do a good job. There are others who think they're a disgrace. But then again, how is actually, technically, they can just look at Google Maps or historic pictures. But anyways, all I will say about Dovetail Games' roots is they're not the worst in the world, and they're not the worst DLC I've seen in my life. But I do agree with people. They could do better. And I think they're gradually and slowly improving. And I think the Klamath Falls, or technically Mount Shasta route, I should be calling it, is a prime example of that. But again, that's just me. What's yours? Phew, that snuck up on me. Excuse me 1 second, I need to check a message. Oh, nothing. Never mind. Whoop. Oop. Wrong lever. Whew. For a second, I thought the brakes were going to cause everything to crunch in on itself. Whew. That was lucky. Ah, good. There's a 60-mile-an-hour speed increase. Excuse me. Here's another question I'd like to ask. To anyone who's watching, comment in the comments or live chat, whichever you may prefer. What is your favorite railroad? It can be from past to present. It can be a good or bad railroad. Like, say, I'll show you guys with my examples. My favorite modern day railroad is Union Pacific. My least favorite modern day railroad would have to be BNSF. I don't hate BNSF, and over the years I've grown to like it for what it is, but there could be improvements, especially with the whole recent controversy that's been going on between BNSF and unions. Union Pacific isn't perfect either. There's some things that they can do that can be improved on. Take engines that are on sidings and put them back into service. It's not that hard to rebuild them or put them into service or adapt them to new locomotives. And as for past railroads, my favorite railroad from the past is Southern Pacific. And for my least favorite, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and with everyone else because it's pretty much the most hated. Not say hated, but it is the worst railroad that ever came to be. Penn Central. But hey, if you guys like the railroads that I don't like, more power to you. You obviously see something that I don't, and I could respect that. So, sound off in the comments or live chat. Which railroad is your favorite? You're not gonna get me this time. Okay, maybe that was a bit too soon, but hey, not everything in life is perfect. Whew. Again, I'm sorry if I'm not being too, I'm sorry if I'm not moving the cameras a lot. I'm just trying to do everything I can to make sure the game doesn't crash. Took me a good few days to get the game set up to what it is where it will work. And I'm also monitoring the YouTube feed on my other computer just so I can make sure I'm keeping interaction with you guys. Oh, nice railroads there. Thomas's favorite railroad is Union Pacific, and from the past is Southern Pacific and Great Northern. I'm also a fan of the Great Northern. In fact, if I remember correctly, Great Northern became part of Burlington Northern back in the 1970s. Yep. That's one thing every rail fan can agree on. Penn Central was everyone's least favorite railroad. Though there are some that do like it, and for them, I'd say, good for you. Though I do have to ask, what is it about a railroad that was doomed from the start that people liked? I guess I kind of find the history or look of it fascinating in a way, I suppose. I mean, look at me. We all know that Southern Pacific is now Union Pacific and Santa Fe is now Burlington Northern Santa Fe. But I really like the story, the history, and the infamous or famous, depending on how you see it, story behind the Southern Pacific and Santa Fe Railroad merger. I think it's a unique chapter in railroading history, and in Southern Pacific history, and Santa Fe history. I've seen a history video done about it, and it definitely seemed like everyone was in favor of it. Well, except for the railroads that were clamoring against it, demanding their own access. And it definitely seemed a lot of people were wanting the SPSF merger to happen. But then the day that the ICC voted 1-4 on it, it's its own thing, I suppose. And that ultimately led to the famous joke in the rail fanning community that SPSF stands for shouldn't paint so fast. Which, to be honest, I like it. It's I actually kind of find it funny in a way. Believe it or not, even Robert Krebs himself of Southern Pacific actually laughed at the joke. Because, according to him, he never heard about it. But he felt pretty good about it. In fact, I'm going to try and see if I can play that right here. I'm not going to play the whole clip, just the snippet where he laughs at that. And I just blew through a crossing. How bad of me. I definitely need to keep an eye on that. Alright, I think this is it.
Locomotives and virtual isn't even approved. And he started
saying the initial stood for shouldn't think so fast.
I never heard that, but that's really good.
Hopefully I won't get copyrighted for that. Oh, what am I talking about? I'm not even afraid of copyright. I'm not saying I would go out and steal other people's videos. Far from it. I don't do that. But yeah, that was actually pretty funny. Even Robert Krebs himself found it funny. Oh, looks like we're entering what looks to be a short town. I wonder what it's called. We're about to find out. We'll pass the station. Oh, it looks like a small industrial farming community. Could have sworn there was a station here. Maybe I overlooked it during the testing phase of this video. And plus, I don't monetize my videos, so I'm not concerned about losing ad revenue or anything. Because again, to be honest, I don't monetize. I'm not on YouTube to make money. I'm on here to make friends and entertain people. I'm not for everyone, but you know what? I'm making videos the way I want to make my videos, so I'm happy with that. I gotta tell you, making this live stream definitely rejuvenates my motivation. $649 derailments, all in a single decade? Holy cow. Yeah, you're right, Thomas. Penn Central really wasn't great from the start. On another topic, I found out some interesting news about Union Pacific 3985. As we all know, 3985 has been donated along with DDA-40X and a few passenger cars and an F-unit body to the Midwestern Railway Heritage Corporation. I think I kind of butchered their name. I'm very sorry. That are also the previous owners of, or no, not previous. They are the owners of Milwaukee Road 261, and they are going to restore the 3985 back to operating condition. Oh, and along with steam locomotive 5511. I almost forgot that engine. I am truly sorry. But I found out something interesting. Union Pacific is going to give 3985 back its original tender. See, from what I heard was that initially 4014's tender is a coal-burning tender, which, fun fact, the big boys have swapped tenders during their regular lifetime, and 4014's tender actually belonged to its older sibling, 4015. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Well, from what I heard, the initial plan at the time was going to restore 844, 4014, and then 3985. And I think the initial plan was to restore 4014's tender, but because 3985's tender was already converted to burn oil, and 4014's was still coal-fired, or coal-configurated, I should say, they initially swapped tenders just to increase the restoration of the big boy. And then when 3985 was announced that it was retired, 3985's tender essentially became 4014's for a while. But when we heard the news that 3985 was being donated to the Midwestern Railroad Heritage Corporation, again, I apologize if I got that name wrong, one of the agreements was that the Midwestern Heritage Railroad would restore 4014's tender and convert it to burn oil, and in return 4014's tender would go to 4014 and 3985's tender would be returned to 3985. Kind of an interesting trade, and a very good trade if I'm honest. I mean, initially when I heard of the news, initially when it was shown that 3985's tender was going to run behind 4014, I think everyone's thought, including myself, was that 3985, when it was restored, they were going to restore 4014's tender, convert it to burn oil, and run it behind 3985. And 4014 would have 3985's tender. I guess the saying is true. Keep one part of the engine and you keep the other. I think that's how it goes. Don't that 3985's tender was... Sorry. I was just checking to make sure the volume was working just fine. But so yeah, that was the news I heard about 3985 and 4014. Well, concerning the tender situation. Well, not situation, the tender talk. Perfect. Alright, so far we're making excellent time. We're about 24 miles away from Klamath Falls. We're nearly complete. Man, it feels so good to say that. Almost feels like the Donner Party in a way, when they reached from, I think it was St. Louis, Illinois, or no, St. Louis, Missouri, sorry. I think the Donner Party started off from St. Louis, Missouri to California to try and open the door for settlers. I'm not 100% sure if that was correct. I may have to redo my history, or do a little more history research. But so far, so good. Forgive me, I was just checking to make sure that the... Forgive me, I was just making sure that the brakes weren't dragging down on the engine or the cars. In case you're wondering, I'm using my phone for the lighting so you guys can see this, or can see the controller. I definitely have to invest in a flexible mounting light that I can position anywhere I want to in the future. But hey, you know what they say, you start off with what you got and then improve later. Adapt, adapt, adapt. And so far so good. Looks like we're approaching a town called Doris. Nice town. I want to pay a visit to there someday in the future. Me too, Thomas. Oh, I'm really happy that 3985 is going to be given a second chance at operating again. You know, all those trolls and rail fans that said 3985 will never run again, they were proven wrong. It's like poetic justice. You know, funnily enough, seeing 3985 being returned to Steam after 4014's claim to fame, I can kind of see some resemblance to Cumberland, Maryland. You know, with the restoration of Chesapeake and Ohio 1309, or is it 1903? Someone correct me in the comments. When 1309 was restored, it was essentially the last run for Consolidation 23 or 734. And it was recently found out, because of the hard running that the engine went through, that it was retired in favor of 1309. But now it seems, now that after the engine, excuse me, but it seems after the engine, after 1309's restoration and essential operation, Western Maryland expressed interest of restoring or overhauling 734 back to operating condition and rebuilding it back to factory original specs. So how do you like that? Something on the Wild Mary happened over to the UP. Or was it Union Pacific first before, or was it Union Pacific 3985 being announced for restoration happened first before 734 on the Western Maryland? I'll have to look that up. Okay. That's another thing I love about railroads. Some of them do cut through lands, let's be honest, they do that. But then there's most railroads that don't cut through the land, but they move with the land. You know, it rows, foul and curved. Thank you, Thomas. So, 734's restoration was announced first, and then 3985's came next. Thank you. Whew. Alright, so far so good. Ooh. You got a question for me about Metro's commuter service, Thomas? Well, I'm not really a commuter expert or something, but go ahead and ask your question. I'll see if I can answer it as best I can. Alright, we're just 18 miles away from Klamath Falls. We're on the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. We're not at the speed increase yet. Gotta remember that. What's my opinion on Metro's commuter service? I think like any other commuter service, it has its ups and downs, but I think they're doing pretty good. I actually like the fact that they roster a few unique locomotives. The one that does come to mind is the F40PH and its alternate nose cousin, the I believe it's called the F40PHM-2. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm also, what also interests me is that they bought the F59 PHIs used on the Pacific Surfliner. Definitely very interesting. Then again, I heard that it's because Metro was in the middle of a locomotive shortage and money crushed at the time, so the only other option was to buy some second-hand or used locomotives. You know, that brings up an interesting question. A while ago, when the F40 PHIs, or F59 PHIs, excuse me, were being announced to be acquired by Metro, there was a speculation or rumor going on that that Metro was seeking to buy X Burlington Northern, X Norfolk Southern, X anything. Basically, they were going to order SD70 Max for commuter service, regear them from freight to passenger service. Did that ever happen, or is that still going on, or, like was asked before, is it a rumor? Sound off in the comments or live chat if you know. But in short, to answer your question, Thomas, every commuter line has its ups and downs, but they each have a certain charm to them, and definitely Metro definitely has a unique history, and also a pretty dark one if you recall the Fox River Grove incident where a Metro train killed that woman, Mary T. Washtilla. Wow, that turned dark really fast. I apologize. I hope that answers your question, Thomas. And may Mary T. Washtilla rest in peace, as well as those kids from that one school bus that got hit by a Metro train. My thoughts and prayers go out to all their families. No, wait. The Mary T. Washtilla incident happened in Downrivers Grove, not Fox River Grove. I am very sorry. Phew. Alrighty, folks, we're on the home stretch. We're 11 miles away from Klamath Falls. Alright folks, we're now entering, or no, well, nearing Klamath Falls. We're almost there. The option of the goal from the beginning was to get the train from point A to point B, so until we arrive at Klamath Falls Station, or Yard, or whichever, I'm calling that. Excuse me. Oh shoot. Gotta keep a close eye on those. They sneak up on you really fast. Ha! Caught it just in time. Woohoo! Now we're making excellent progress. There goes a few trucks. Kind of reminds me of the Freedom Convoy that's going on in Alberta and in Washington D.C. I say keep them trucks a rolling. Freedom Convoy. There's like over 100 crossings all over America. So engineers literally have to blow the horn at every single one of them for every mile. I wonder if one arm is developed more than the other. Steve Lee, when he did his interview or his time on the show Extreme Trains, when they asked when Matt Bound asked him if he had to blow the whistle a lot. One arm developed more than the other. Steve Lee said his left arm was Popeye and the right arm is olive oil. Oh, good. I answered your question. I answered your question. Thank you, Thomas. Oh, I think we're approaching Yep, we're approaching Klamath Falls Yard. We're approaching Klamath Falls Yard, so I need to slow down. Prepare for the yard entry. Yard entry. Do they say that in railroad terms? Probably not. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're entering Klamath Falls, Oregon. Whoop. Probably should have slowed down to 25 miles an hour sooner. Oh well, no harm, no foul. I gotta tell you guys, working on a, using a realistic controller, it definitely changes the game, pun intended. Using a realistic controller definitely makes the train feel more real. Alternating between the throttle and the brakes is like learning how to put peanut butter and jam on your sandwiches for school. But you gotta improvise. A lot of times, unforeseen circumstances show up more faster than a stiffy on prom night. Alright. I'm just gonna let the train coast into the station. Technically I was supposed to park the train on another siding, but since this is technically a free roam session, that's what it was in the first video as well. I'm just going to wait until I park next to the train station. For that, that's when I'm going to count it. Oh hey T-Crash Productions, glad you can make it to the show. Whew. Alright. Gonna apply the brakes gently. Slowly. 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 Slowly, slowly. And we have arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have officially arrived in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Ah, boy, does that feel good. It's been a long journey, hasn't it? Well, not technically long, but probably about a few days and a few hours for each session. But regardless, I'm calling it for what it is. So, what have we learned today? Well, simple. If you put your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. So, I better put this on to make sure the train arrives, or no train secure. Alright, I'm just going to turn off the lights there and let the Hostler crew or whoever my replacement is at the station take over from here. So, as I said before, I initially did this as a one live stream, but the game crashed and thus caused me to have to end the stream. But now I have officially completed the run. I just felt compelled to complete it because where I live, a lot of people know me for my reputation. When I take on a job, I see it through to the end. And I felt like I owed you guys, because at this present in time, I've reached around 4.64k subscribers. And to quote a friend of mine, you do a lot of the work to build up that. But in reality, it's not just you. It's the users and subscribers who subscribe to you that make it count. So if it wasn't for you guys, then I wouldn't be where I am today, and that's what motivates me to make good videos for you guys. So thank you all so much for helping me make my channel a very successful YouTube channel. Again, I don't think I'm the biggest YouTuber out there, and nor do I think I will be the most popular YouTuber ever. But regardless, having a very successful YouTube channel is very fulfilling to me. And so, a while ago, I wanted to ask myself if I wanted to do some live streaming again. I mean, I've done live streams before, but I didn't necessarily like them. Especially my Donner and my 3-engine thing. Well, actually, I do like the 3-engine one because I felt it was an improvement, but regardless in all those, you could only hear my voice and not the engines and the equipment being used. So that kind of got me out of live streaming, but then after seeing a bunch of live streams and a few other things, I got the motivation to try and do them again. And right here, I want to give a big shout out to my friend from Georgia, Tom Todd 774. he basically does the Let's Plays and live streams himself. And it was in particularly thanks to him that I got the motivation to do live streaming again. So I'm going to leave a link to TomTodd774's YouTube channel in the description. I want you guys to go over to his channel, subscribe to him, and comment on his videos and tell him that Trainman3985 sent me to you. Give him some love, give him some compassion, and give him some subscribers and help him reach the amount of subscribers that I have. So far, this journey has been epic. I've gotten back into live streaming, and the live stream, honestly, despite the fact that I had to split it in 2 parts, it was a success. And I would just like to thank everyone for that success and following me on this journey and joining me for this journey. So where does it go from here? Well, I'm going to take a break from live streaming for a bit, and I don't know when the next one's going to be, but regardless, this shows that I can do live streaming. And again, thank you to TomTodd774 for inspiring me to get back into live streaming. Go check him out, sub to his channel, tell him Trainman3985 sent you, and who knows, maybe I'll do another one in the future. So I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. Thank you for spending some time with me, and thank you for coming along on this ride. So I think I said everything. So until next time, you guys take care. You guys have a great day, and God bless our troops. God bless you all. God bless all the people who do good deeds, and God bless America. Thank you for joining me on this train ride, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, I'm Trainman3985, and I'm rolling out. Thank you, and good evening, and have a good day, or good morning, or I don't know what time it is whenever you clicked on this, but I will say all 3 greetings. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. See you later, everyone.